What is going on, everybody? How are we all doing today? Southend United back again as per usual. This time we're on episode 24, and just before we get into it, I'd just like to say thank you very much for all the support on the last video. The amount of views that we had was absolutely crazy. Well, maybe not the last one. The last one is still gradually progressing. I think it was episode 22. We hit over 100, like surprisingly easily, which we haven't really done for a while. I'm going to say it's because it is the start of the brand new season, but still, it's really good to see. It's really motivating to see. And it just makes me want to make more and more videos. I know we're approaching the end of FIFA 18, but by the time FIFA 19 comes out, the videos will well and truly be flying out of this channel, all for your entertainment. Got a cup game up against Preston. That is coming up next in 2 days. Following that, we've got another game in Europe. If I can remember what the score of the first one was, we won that 2-1. I may well be playing that game too. Following that, we have a game against Leeds. Then after that, Everton, Burnley, Palace. All of those games are very winnable, I think. Then Manchester United, Tottenham, Watford, and Man City. That is when the real crunch time comes for us as we hit October. I don't know whether we'll get that far today, but we will definitely get all the way through September. Just had news that Ryan Sessegnon has actually had a bid put in for him. Obviously, he isn't my player. He is on my shortlist. 10 million, that would actually be something I'd be very interested in. However, as we all know, my money situation is not great at all. We've got about 7 million. This is our team. We managed to get Nketiah back in the team. Maitland-Niles as well, who I did think was going to be a little bit better, which was slightly disappointing. Abidjabaka is finally improving a little bit in his rating. Joe Willock has come of age through the preseason, so hopefully he can keep that up in the whole entire duration of the season. And Aidan Bennett, of course, our main man. I think he's nearly our best player behind Nelson. He's on the same level as Nketiah, so that kid, he is progressing nicely. I think he's still only about 16 as well, which is crazy. As we come into our first game, we are up against Preston, and I'm going out with a full strength team. I know we've got a game in Europe, but I will probably be playing that myself after. I hope we can recover this, because I don't want to play my full strength first team and then go out and lose a cup game. So we'll skip around half time. Luckily enough, Reece Nelson got that one goal back. And we have gone now. That was a close one. Who scored it? It actually went into extra time when Maitland-Niles managed to seal the victory for us. At least we're through into the next round of the Carabao Cup. Before we follow up with our game against Rostov, I cannot remember if I did comment on this last time, but we did set up a scouting network. This time in Spain. I usually do it in England because, you know, we want our homegrown players. But I thought I would vary it up. And this is the first report altogether. It was 3 months, I believe, maybe technically gifted I went for. Or it may well have been all around. But we have 4 guys here. What are their ratings like? All of them are very high. We will keep an eye on Benjamin Luna, Rodrigo Marquez, Geronimo Soria, and Xavier Arongoa. It's all in the first month, so we don't really know too much about them. Luckily enough for me, I have the knowledge of real life. My club, Arsenal, have signed this man, Matteo Guendouzi. And he's supposed to be a hotshot. We're a few years through, and he is actually still at Lorient, which is where we did buy him from in real life. I'm going to have a quick scout of him. Hopefully a scout report can come through before the transfer window slams shut, which is in a couple of days. It may be too late for us, but I might have to do a little bit of searching via Google to see what his potential is. And he could be a good player to bring in. I don't know too much about him from this game, only what I know in real life. But this leads us very nicely into our game against Rostov. It's a second leg. I don't really want to take the risk of resting players because then we may lose. And the EuroLeague probably will get us a lot of money this year. So I'm going to do a bit of rotation. I'm not going to show you guys because it usually does take a little bit too long. But this is our team to start off with. It probably will look a little bit different after this. But we'll just jump into the game anyway. If you look at our names that we have at the bottom of the screen, you will see a lot of the players are rotated. Bennett remains in the team, same as Nelson, and I also think Maitland-Niles. And I was going to say, I really need to protect the lead. And we are not in a good place, because if away goals stand, we need to score at least 1 goal to get through to the next round already. That is such a bad start. Here we go, come on. We need to counter here. Alfie Carter to Maitland-Niles. What can we do? This should be Nelson on the overlap. This is a great chance and a great goal. The away goal too. That puts us back in the control of this match. Come on, 1 goal advantage. Lovely play again. Knock it. Penalty. Pen? There we go. Penalty. All right. Decent, decent. All right. Left hand side. Keep didn't even move. Easy stuff. 2-goal advantage, 2 away goals. That practically, I'm going to say it, practically wraps up the game. Okay, it's a 1-goal game. No, it isn't, because we've got away goals. What do they need to get? 2 more? I think they need to be... Oh, I don't even know. 2 more, I think. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh, no. 1 goal in it. 1 goal. I think we're throwing away goals currently. Glashan through the line. Please, to Griffiths. That's got to do it. Has to do it. That's 3 goals. They have to score another 2 in 10 minutes. That should wrap up the game. That is just what we need. We took off all of our best players as well to save them for the game against Leeds later on. And that should wrap it up. What a game. There we have it. It was a risk taking off our 3 main men, Bennett, Maitland-Niles and Nelson. But clearly it did. It just about paid off. That man there, Sigurdarsson, did get a hat-trick. But we did enough. We're going through, and I think we're into the group stages. That was a nice little start to the day, and the fitness situation isn't too bad. The rest of the team is in a good state. 2 days for everyone else to recover before we play our game against Leeds. I didn't even realise they had actually got promoted. I don't know if they got promoted in the first season, perhaps, but they are in the Premiership now. I feel relatively confident. These are the types of teams that we do need to be picking up results against, though, if we want to be able to stay in the Prem. We are at home as well. We're coming off of the back of, what, 2 wins already in the league, if I can remember correctly. Maitland-Niles with an early booking. We do actually drop down 1-0, which is not ideal. We'll get to half-time, and then we will skip just like we did in the last game. Even if we could get a draw here, that is a very good start to the season. As soon as I say that, Kiernan backs us up, but we do end up losing 2-1. It's not great, but given our start, not too bad. For some reason, people are still trying to put offers in for some of my players that I really don't want to sell. Like Joe Willock, he has turned it around recently, and he seems to be actually doing pretty decent. Another guy that we're actually interested in, though, another central midfielder who could play alongside Joe Willock is Matteo Guendouzi. Apparently, we cannot scout him, but I've had a little browse and scout myself. I think he is kind of around the 70 rated mark, and he can actually improve up to around 80. So because of that, I think I might actually try and get him in. I might be able to sign him for around 1 or 2 million, which is decent considering we have, I think, around 6 or 7. I know that's accounting for no wage budget, but we will go here for Guendouzi. I'll come back probably towards the end of the negotiations. We're going to go for around 1 to 2 million, like I said. Okay, 1.5 million was not what they wanted, and they've just completely run away from me. Let's pretend that didn't happen. I've decided to have a little bit of a shift with some of the training on my players. I'm concentrating mainly on my fullbacks. I know I said I wasn't going to concentrate too much on the youngsters because I was going to let them develop naturally, but my fullbacks, I do feel confident with these guys. They're both really young, Bawomino and Alfie Carter, so I do actually want to develop them at least to kind of mid-70s, around that area, just so that they are kind of Premiership level players. Otherwise, I'm actually going to have to end up looking to replace them in future windows, which I don't really want to do because they do have the potential. Enough of me chatting about that. We've got a game against Everton, and from the start of this game, I'm not feeling too great about how this season's going to go. There seems to be a bit of a trend. We can see goals early, and I don't know why I'm chatting because we just had a fantastic win. 2-1. This is quite a big game for us. We have our first official EuroLeague game, and this is actually in the group stage. I probably would be playing it, but I'm just going to simulate it because I really do want to play a game probably later on today. Another early goal that we've conceded, which isn't very good. We should probably get kind of wrecked by Villarreal, and that did happen. 3-0. We probably will need to concentrate a little bit more on these games in the future if we want to get through, and we want to get a little bit more money. But we've got 2 games coming up extremely quick. Burnley and then a cup game against Stoke. And we have gone straight into this next match. You probably would have seen it even on the last clip because I was that eager to get in. And we probably will be quite low on fitness, so I'm not really expecting anything straight up from this. We did concede extremely early. That seems to be a thing we do every single game. That is why I'm training up my defenders a little bit more, especially the fullbacks. And we are going to skip, and we did lose 2-1. Fitness isn't too bad for this one. I thought it would be worse, but it may leave us a little bit short for the Crystal Palace game. We can't really afford to rotate just because we don't have that strength in depth. But anyway, we are here once again, half-time. That seems to be the thing this season. We get to half-time. This time with, I was going to say a lead. It didn't happen. Beulah scores another one in extra time, so our fitness is going to drop even more, and we are out of the Carabao Cup. We're joining already within this next game, and it could actually be a blessing in disguise that we were knocked out of the Carabao Cup. We realistically do need to concentrate on the league because that is the main priority. Yes, we have our European kind of run as well, which we will be getting into the next match of in a minute. By the way, that draw was relatively pleasing considering the fitness. But yeah, we kind of, the league is the main priority, then obviously everything else falls into place after that. The Carabao Cup probably doesn't mean too much to us, so I really am not disappointed we got knocked out of that in the slightest. If it was the FA Cup, I might have had a few reservations about the whole entire thing, but I'd much rather get knocked out of the Carabao Cup in comparison to the Euro League or the FA Cup, or just get relegated altogether. We don't want that, so if I had to sacrifice a cup for the year, I'd happily have it be that. Anyway though, we have our game. Reece Nelson's up at an 82 all of a sudden, which is very nice to see. We're up against Braga. This is the team we're probably going to run with. I don't know if I should bring anyone else in. I might bring McGlashan because his pace can always have an impact, even though he is only a 59 these days. He really has slowed down a bit. Demetrio can drop out for Cipriano, and other than that, that'll be the team that we roll with. We really do need some reinforcements in this team. We're gradually increasing over time, but we should be able to get it done against Braga. I'm not going to lie, I didn't think that this would ever be happening or be something that I would see, and that's Southend United in the EuroLeague, as already the other team gets an injury in just the second minute of the match. Now that he's off the pitch, we can go back to what we were saying. Southend United in the Europa League. Who would have thought that when we started this career? We were in League One. Look at all of our players now. We're developing lovely. We've got our youth players. All right, we're a little bit short on money, but overall, it's been such a success. We have the majority of our strongest players playing, and Ketia slips it through to Nelson, the main man, who all of a sudden scores our first goal in the EuroLeague. Let's go round the outside, Get that cross in with the ball. Oh, Maitland-Niles finally gets one in. Oh, he keeps on trying and eventually one falls for him. Good stuff, 2-0. We go through the gap is there. Nelson with the shot. It's just incredible. That man, 3-0. This is a whitewash. And there we have it once again. Our first clean sheet, our first proper set of goals in European competition. We're not counting qualifying. 3-0 against Braga. That brings us right back into the group. Probably tied second place with Braga. I imagine that Villarreal won their game against Partick Thistle. So, we're in a good position. Next game up in that will be up against Partick Thistle. That'll be happening in the next episode. So yeah, we may as well have a little review of how today has gone. Before we have a little run over where we are in our respective leagues, groups, cups, we have a little recap with our players once again. I think we're kind of at a stage where they're not going to get any closer on their potential, and this is going to be their rating. So we probably could do with bringing one or two of them up, or at least sending them out on loan. They do actually have quite a lot of value, around $500,000 for each of them, which could actually help us out quite a bit if we were to bring them up and sell them. But we will get onto that probably in a future episode, seeing as we have only just come back, well, off the back of a transfer window. Anyway, as you can see, in the league, we are sitting in 10th place after 6 games. We've scored 11, which is nearly the highest in the league. However, we have conceded 10, which is going to be a real problem for us. We've got a big month up against, well, up ahead of us at least, up against us. It will be up against us because we've got United, City, Spurs, all those sorts of people. If we have a look at the EuroLeague, which was just a lucky click by me, Manchester United are in the EuroLeague. That's going to be a tough one if we ever get them later on. First of all, we do need to qualify. If I can actually find us, and I seem to have gone past us perhaps. Nope, there we go. Villarreal did beat Partick Thistle. I think only 2-0, whereas we lost 3-0 to them, but we've got them next up. I imagine Villarreal will probably win nearly every single game in this group. But overall, if we can aim for second or we can get through, we'll get a nice little bit of money, and that can help us out in January. The next game in the league is up against Manchester United, and I don't feel like playing that today. I will probably get onto that straight away in the next episode. We will be playing that game. We have quite a few games next month which we could be playing. It's just deciding what ones. I think it will probably be Manchester United and maybe even Manchester City, or Maybe we should prioritise the Euros. I don't know. If we win the United game, I may well play that game against Partick Thistle and let kind of our fate be in control of the game for the Tottenham game, the Man City game, and the Watford game. Following that, after more European games, Arsenal, West Ham, Leicester, it never gets easier in the Premier League. It's going to be a tough task, but that will be in the next episode. So if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you hit a like on the video. Stay subscribed as well. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you do hit that button. Leave me any comments down below. I love reading your comments, responding to them. I always do read them and respond to them. I may be a little bit delayed sometimes, but I do always get around to it. So thank you once again. Thank you for the support on the last couple of videos. It has been really good. The amount of views has just been great. FIFA 19, I cannot wait. Black Ops 4, everything else, Battlefield, Fortnite, I cannot wait to play more and more. So thank you guys. I will see you all on the next video.